You know, we live in an era of literally infinite data. But trying to navigate this massive information jungle, it really requires us to distinguish rock-solid facts from, well-disguised opinions. So let's figure out how to make sure the ground you're building your arguments on is actually solid.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're unpacking Lesson 37, Evaluating Source Reliability. Figuring out whether a text is truly authoritative is an absolutely crucial analytical skill. And today, we're basically building your ultimate detective toolkit to do exactly that. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start at the crime scene, then we'll interrogate the author, evaluate the publishing body, assess academic relevance, and finally, deliver our final verdict.
All right, Section 1, the crime scene, navigating the information jungle.
So, the core problem we're facing is that while the internet gives us infinite data, a huge chunk of it lacks true authority. What does that actually mean? Well, authority means a source contains complete, accurate information, and because of that, it's highly respected by the academic community. It's not about having the loudest voice or, the flashiest platform. It's entirely about verifiable accuracy.
To actually spot that authority in the wild, our source material gives us this really rigorous checklist. You can think of this as your primary filter, like your investigator's magnifying glass. You've got to ask yourself, is this text intended to inform, or is it just trying to sell me something? Is it addressed to specialists? Is it written objectively? Applying these criteria instantly separates the reputable sources from all the noise.
Moving on to Section 2, interrogating the author and checking those credentials.
When you're investigating the who behind a text, the very first question you should ask is this: does the author work at a university or a research institution? This affiliation is a massive signal, guys. It basically indicates that their work is supported, funded, or at the very least monitored by a recognized body of experts. Let's run through this author authority checklist real quick. First, are they a recognized expert? Second, do they have strong institutional ties? And third, and this is absolutely crucial, does their name appear in the reference lists of trusted textbooks or journals? If other experts are citing them, you are definitely on the right track. All right, Section 3, evaluating the publishing body. Basically, where is this information coming from? We've looked at the who, so now we've got to look at the where. Publishers act as the gatekeepers of information. Just consider the stark contrast between a daily newspaper and an academic journal. Now, newspapers are great for current events for sure, but they can be highly subjective, meaning they score pretty low on our academic reliability scale. An academic journal, on the other hand, focuses on deep, objective coverage. That's your gold standard right there. Now, I just mentioned peer review, but let's actually demystify what that means. Peer review is when a text is critically evaluated by other academics in the exact same discipline before it's ever published. You can think of it like a jury of experts evaluating a suspect's alibi. They're checking for accuracy, quality, and reliability. If an article survives this jury, it has serious authority. When you're investigating online, the URL actually reveals the publisher's fundamental intent. So let's look at how this builds out our analytical toolkit. A .edu or a .ac. That points straight to educational rigor. A .org usually signals a nonprofit. Now, those are often reliable, but you should always verify their specific agenda. And a .com is a commercial entity. Their primary goal is often generating revenue, so you really want to approach their claims with a much higher degree of skepticism. Moving on to Section 4, assessing academic relevance. This is all about weighing the evidence. Okay, so here's the trap a lot of people fall into. Even if a source is written by an absolute genius and it's fully peer-reviewed, it's totally useless if it lacks relevance. Relevance simply means the information is directly connected to the precise subject you are researching. If a fact doesn't directly support your specific argument, it has no place in your work. I don't care how fascinating it is, leave it out. Academic journal articles can easily be over 7,000 words long. That's a lot of reading. So to avoid wasting hours on irrelevant sources, just follow this workflow. Step 1, skim the abstracts, introductions, and section headings. Step 2, strictly evaluate their connection to your topic. And Step 3, only commit to a deep read once you've actually confirmed that relevance.
And finally, Section 5, the final verdict, putting your investigative toolkit together.
Relying on the internet without a filter is, honestly, a huge liability. As our source material so perfectly states, it is important to refer only to authoritative sources of information. This means checking the credentials of the author and the website. It's really that simple. It's a non-negotiable foundation for any logical argumentation. So the next time you're building an argument, are you going to interrogate your source? Or are you going to let an unreliable suspect slip right into your research? Take this toolkit, demand real authority, and elevate your work. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, guys. See you next time.